Welcome to the desktop of my Windows XP machine. In 2009, this machine is a typical gaming quality machine, not particularly exotic, but a little bit more powerful than your typical office machine. It has a nice NVIDIA graphics card, and it's equipped with Logitech's Wingman gaming profiler software so that my joystick, which is connected, already has its buttons mapped to generate keystrokes the way I like them. That's optimized for use with Aces High. I'm going to leave it that way so it always generates the keystrokes I use for Aces High while I install a new flight simulator that I've discovered recently, and we'll just see if it can work with the very same joystick configuration. So I'm going to leave that active and minimize it while I then fire up my browser and go to a website for YsFlight. The easy way to go there is to use a Google search. So from my main Google search page, I'm going to type YsFlight into the Google search bar, and that'll bring up a lot of websites, but the main one I want is this top one, YsFlight. This is the website run by the Japanese-speaking author of YsFlight, and because he speaks Japanese, his website is bilingual. I'm going to cancel this option to install extra character sets, and that brings up this option to see the website in English. Since I don't speak Japanese, I'm going to click on this button for English. I assume if you spoke Japanese, you'd get a similar or better experience. Here is their website. It's a nice website. It's got a lot of nice bulletins and news about the free YsFlight simulator. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and we'll take a look at some of the things that are on here. Notice that it's available for Ubuntu Linux and various other Linuxes. I've run it successfully with PC Linux OS, and I like that. Coming up to the top, we have the option to, it says ready for download. I'm going to click on this very first link where it says YsFlight ready for download right there. So we're left clicking on that. And that tells me a little bit about the software. For example, there's a summary here that shows the system requirements. Let's click on this link for system requirements, and you can see it says it requires a Windows 95 or 98 or Windows ME or Windows NT 4.0 or Windows 2000 or Windows XP machine or Linux. As I said, I've had good success with Windows XP and with PC Linux OS version 2009.1. It says you need a processor with Pentium 300 MHz or faster, and 500 MHz or faster is recommended. Almost any computer purchased in the last 3 or 4 years will meet those requirements. 64 megabytes of RAM or larger, 128 megabytes or larger is recommended. DirectX 3.0 and Internet Explorer 6.0 or higher. These are very modest requirements in 2009, so I think it just doesn't require a lot of computer. So I think this should work fine. I know it runs on this computer, and I believe it'll run on most. I'm going to click this Download Now link to go get it, and that takes me to this prominent link that says Download Now 11.39 megabytes for Windows. So I'm going to click that one. It says thank you for downloading. Windows then brings up this information bar alerting me that a website is offering some software for download. I'm going to close this bar, and as prompted, click on this one and say download file. All this is the usual way that Windows warns us about the dangers of downloading unknown software. We're happy with this, so I'm going to save it. And I'm going to save it in a temporary folder. Let's go here under Temp and create a folder named YsFlight Installer. And entering that folder, YsFlight Installer, the file name is going to be YsFlight. It's zipped. I'm going to click Save, and we'll just watch while that file is downloaded from the internet. Because it's not very big, it's not going to take very long. As usual in these situations, I get a bar graph that'll advance from left to right as the software is downloaded. Now I'm on a medium speed DSL connection. It's downloading at 67 kilobytes per second. If you spent more money than me for your internet connection, yours may come faster, or conversely, if you've got a low performance internet connection, it may take a little longer, but this is not going to be a very long download. I'm going to pause this movie now and resume it when it's almost completely downloaded, and we'll just continue the conversation at that point. Okay, 2 minutes later, the software is almost completely downloaded. It says 7 seconds remaining, 6, 5, 4. The bar graph's gone all the way across from left to right. 3, 2, 1 seconds. There it is. Download complete. I'm going to just close everything. I'm going to remember that I stored it at c:temp YsFlight installer YsFlight.zip. It's a zip IVE, so I'll need to unzip it, and then we can use it. I'm going to close this, and we're done with the browser, so I'm closing that. Back to my desktop.
And it's just that easy to download the installer for this product. Next, we'll unzip it, find the executable, and complete the installation.